A few wandering families, poor, wretched, without education, art, or power, descendants of those who had been enslaved for 400 years, ignorant as the inhabitants of Central Africa, had just escaped from their masters to the desert of Sinai. Their leader was Moses, a man who had been raised in the family of Pharaoh, and who had been taught the law and mythology of Egypt. For the purpose of controlling his followers, he pretended that he was instructed and assisted by Jehovah, the God of these wanderers. Everything that happened was attributed to the interference of this God. Moses declared that he had met this God face to face, that on Sinai's top, from the hands of this God, he had received the tablets of stone on which, by the finger of this God, the 10 Commandments had been written, and that, in addition to this, Jehovah had made known the sacrifices and ceremonies that were pleasing to him, and the laws by which the people should be governed. In this way the Jewish religion and the Mosaic Code were established. It is now claimed that this religion and these laws were and are revealed and established for all mankind. At that time these wanderers had no commerce with other nations. They had no written language. They could neither read nor write. They had no means by which they could make this revelation known to other nations, and so it remained buried in the jargon of a few ignorant, impoverished, and unknown tribes for more than 2,000 years. Many centuries after Moses, the leader, was dead, many centuries after all his followers had passed away, the Pentateuch was written, the work of many writers, and to give it force and authority, it was claimed that Moses was the author. We now know that the Pentateuch was not written by Moses. Towns are mentioned that were not in existence when Moses lived. Money, not coined until centuries after his death, is mentioned. So, many of the laws were not applicable to the wanderers on the desert. Laws about agriculture, about the sacrifice of oxen, sheep, and doves, about the weaving of cloth, about ornaments of gold and silver, about the cultivation of land, about harvest, about the threshing of grain, about houses and temples, about cities of refuge, and about many other subjects of no possible application to a few starving wanderers over the sands and rocks. It is now not only admitted by intelligent and honest theologians that Moses was not the author of the Pentateuch, but they all admit that no one knows who the authors were, or who wrote any of these books, or a chapter, or a line. We know that the books were not written in the same generation, that they were not all written by one person, that they are filled with mistakes and contradictions. It is also admitted that Joshua did not write the book that bears his name, because it refers to events that did not happen until long after his death. No one knows, or pretends to know, the author of Judges. All we know is that it was written centuries after all the judges had ceased to exist. No one knows the author of Ruth, nor of 1st and 2nd Samuel. All we know is that Samuel did not write the books that bear his name. In the 25th chapter of 1st Samuel is an account of Samuel's death, and in the 27th chapter is an account of the raising of Samuel by the witch of Endor. No one knows the author of 1st and 2nd Kings, or 1st and 2nd Chronicles. All we know is that these books are of no value. We know that the Psalms were not written by David. In the Psalms the captivity is spoken of, and that did not happen until about 500 years after David slept with his fathers.